Yep. So we've got arrests of sheriffs going on. We've got ICE pickups, and Kristi Noem can't take a joke. The Secretary of Homeland Security. It's South Park. Just roll. J.D. Vance will show you the way, and you're not Trump. And both her and Nancy Mace engaged in a really horrible way to deal with something. And you can't do leftist tactics and get our respect. Just so you know. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz Today. Let the games begin. So the reporting is that the FBI just announced today, that they have arrested the sheriff in Boston, Suffolk County Sheriff Stephen Tompkins. The allegation is that the sheriff extorted 50 grand from a cannabis dealer. Just a guy trying to make a living right there. Tony Katz. Tony Katz Today. Good to be with you. 833-468-8669, 833 got Tony. That's how you get to be a part of the show. Just a guy trying to make a living. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A bag of weed, oh, everything is better with a bag of weed. It's the only help that you'll ever need, because everything is better with a bag of weed. The citizens of Suffolk County deserve better. Not a man who is accused of trading on his position to bankroll his own political and financial future. This, according to the FBI Boston Division Special Agent in charge, Ted Dox. Now, innocent until proven guilty. We always say that because we're not interested in getting sued. That's usually it. Also, I believe it. What can I say? I'm naive. This is a story. So, Axios in Boston reported that this sheriff secured $50,000 in stock and later secured a refund when the share price dropped. Wait, huh? How in the world does that even work? I guess Tompkins is a guy who supports sanctuary city policies too. The most amazing part to me about criminal activity is the absolute belief that people will get away with it. They're convinced that it will not somehow become a problem for them, that they will rise above it, that they are invincible, impermeable. I don't even know what to call it, but that they won't have a problem. How do they think they won't have a problem? But this is true about everything, right? So there's people who have affairs. Never mind even the affair part. I don't quite understand how you have the time. They have a whole nother family. How do they think they're not going to get caught? How do they think that it's not going to come out? Out in the open. The guy who was the CEO of Astronomer going to a Coldplay show with his lover, paramour, side chick, what I don't know. I don't know what he referred to it as. You didn't think somebody would notice? Okay, you weren't expecting the camera to be on you. Then you blame Coldplay for having a camera that shows the crowd? That's something else. That is special. These people do it all the time. They just never believe that there's going to be anything that comes back to them. Stunning. So this is just one story right here. Just one. And then there was Kristi Noem. Oh, and don't worry, I'm going to get to Kristi Noem because Kristi Noem does not have a sense of humor and she needs one. And Nancy Mace played the part of a liberal and she shouldn't do that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And if you say to me, Tony, you can't say anything to these two women because that would be mansplaining. Well, then watch me mansplain. I'm a grown man and I explain things. And I'm not going to stop doing it because it's Representative Nancy Mace, Republican, and Secretary Kristi Noem, Republican. No. We'll get to that in a moment. Kristi Noem is saying that ICE has made hundreds of thousands of arrests since, of course, Trump took office in January. But she's now discussing Chicago that have places that have sanctuary city policies in place have made the job more difficult. So they had a news conference in Chicago. It featured photos of immigrants who had been arrested, including a Mexican man who was arrested and charged with child sexual assault, a Polish man who had been arrested and charged with attempted murder, and a Honduran man who was arrested and charged with child sexual assault. And the piles of cash and guns and the photos and damn straight. Good. Because this is what we voted for. And I like that they did this in J.B. Pritzker's backyard. Because Pritzker needs to be embarrassed and needs to be ashamed. You run a poor state. Nope. You poorly run what can be a great state. Much better said, Tony. You do. If you do not favor the arrest of people here illegally who are abusing children, I don't know what to do with you. Now you say to me, what about people who are citizens who are abusing children? Arrest them too, which is why we want the Epstein files. You see, over here, we have got a continuous line of thought, of rational thought, where we connect point A with point B, and whoop, that's a straight line, boo-boo. We get from there to there. We don't have to zigzag. We don't have to go up, down. There are no curves. It's just not like you're playing Cubert. You got to jump up to jump down. We are right there. I didn't know this was so hard. I didn't know everyone had to make it so difficult. J.B. Pritzker is wrong. I don't care if he's got $1 billion. He's just wrong. You think you've got a heart? What heart? You care? The hell you care. I'm calling you a fraud. You don't care. You don't give a damn. You're like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who pretends to cry at the border. But when Joe Biden's president, you don't even show up at the border. I say about J.B. Pritzker what I say about Ocasio-Cortez. You do not care about black or brown children. You don't care about children being sexually abused. You don't care about children being assaulted. You don't care about children being left to die. You don't. There's just no way, if you are willing to say, hey, you're here illegally, we'll harbor you. Your argument is there are people coming across the border who are just looking for a better life. We should help them. We don't have to help anybody, and they should come across legally and be a part of the American fabric. Not thinking that where they came from is better, not thinking that someone has to learn the language for them. They have to learn the language to be a part of us. And if you make the effort to be a part of us, a part of America, like my grandmother and grandfather did, well, then, my gosh, the world is your oyster. At least America is your oyster. Go get what you can. Go make of your life what you will. America allows these things. But if you want us to be like you, to be like your wherever forsaken home was, well, that's valueless to us. That's no good to us. That doesn't help anything. As a matter of fact, that's detrimental if you think where you came from is better than where you are now. It's detrimental if you think you don't have to learn the language and English is the language of freedom. It is all detrimental. And the policies are detrimental because the people coming across the border aren't just people in search of a better life. A lot of them are people who want you dead, which is why Pam Bondi has put a $50 million bounty on the head of Nicolas Maduro. Because Nicolas Maduro isn't sending the best and the brightest. Nicolas Maduro is a lowlife who wants to do you great, great, great harm. Pam Bondi is the Attorney General, and she made the announcement.
Justice and State Department are announcing a historic $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, Sinaloa, and Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country. To date, the DEA has seized 30 tons of cocaine linked to Maduro and his associates, with nearly 7 tons linked to Maduro himself, which represents a primary source of income for the deadly cartels based in Venezuela and Mexico. Cocaine is often laced with fentanyl, resulting in the loss and destruction of countless American lives. The DOJ has seized over $700 million of Maduro-linked assets, including 2 private jets, 9 vehicles, and more. Yet Maduro's reign of terror continues. He is one of the largest narco traffickers in the world and a threat to our national security. Therefore, we've doubled his reward to $50 million. Under President Trump's leadership, Maduro will not escape justice, and he will be held accountable for his despicable crimes. If you have any information to bring this criminal to justice, call 1-202-307-4228 or go online.
So, there's some money in them Nar Hills. Is anybody going to argue that Nicolas Maduro isn't doing this? Is anybody going to argue that Tren de Aragua is somehow the good guys? No, wait. They tried to make that argument. Martha Raddatz tried to make that argument with J.D. Vance when she said it's just a handful of apartment complexes being taken over in Colorado, which, of course, led to the breakthrough moment for J.D. Vance when he said, Martha, do you hear yourself? That moment, I am convinced, said to America, yeah, that guy, he could do the job. Although Trump could call him the heir apparent to MAGA all he wants in 2028, I just want to put down my marker and say, I'm not buying it just yet. I'll save that for another day. Put that one to the side. People coming across the border are criminals. People coming across the border are violent. Well, not all of them. Enough. One is too many. So sanctuary policies cannot be in place. You cannot protect these people. You have to root them out. You have to throw them out of the country. And if you have to punish the nations that are allowing them to come, so be it, because it is us or it is them. I have been saying this now in different contexts. Is it over a year, 2 years? I feel like it's been a while, but I think I'm getting bothered by the fact that maybe I'm not being clear enough in what I'm discussing. We are going to survive as a nation, or they're going to succeed in destroying us as a nation. Which one do you want? I'm not interested in some progressive claptrap about, well, you have to be nice, or, well, you don't understand. No, I understand. I understand. There's no more talking. What do you want? Do you want to survive as a society or not? Because their society is terrible. If you want to live in Maduro's Venezuela and eat pigeons, knock yourself out. I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. Actually, I want to build a containment system so the pigeons stay in New York because they are flying rats. They're smart, sure, if we want to use them to deliver messages. But then again, I want a society where the internet works, where you're not dependent on the pigeon in order to talk to your Meemaw some 800 miles away. I don't want what they have. I want what we have. I want legal immigration where people come and become a part of the fabric of us, because that's better. But I want every illegal immigrant gone, and I want progressives who somehow think we should protect illegal immigrants. I want them to lose at the ballot box every time. I want them to lose their minds. I want them to cry. I want them to weep. I want them to wail. Or none of those things. Because why would you want anybody to cry? But I can't have them winning elections and implementing policies that will destroy us. So they have to lose and we have to win. And people who push sanctuary cities have to lose. And Kristi Noem and Tom Homan have to keep exposing the nonsense of J.B. Pritzker and his sanctuary cities. He's just wrong. He has to be embarrassed and shamed. Not that he gets embarrassed or he has shame, but he has to be embarrassed and shamed. And his citizens have to realize that they can do better. We have to win and they have to lose. We have to show them, everybody else that there are policies that can work. And as for the sheriffs or anybody else who thinks that they can utilize their position to engage in crimes or extortion or anything else and then lecture us, yeah, there's got to be a place, an alligator Alcatraz for you too. Come on. That guy's jail can't be fun. That's got to be one of the rules. Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Tony Katz Today. Good to be with you. We do have the Friday audio dump to get to. We'll do that in the next hour between Padilla and between Vance. There are things Vance does that I love and things Vance does where I'm like, nope, no. In the end, Vance is way too much of a populist, and I need to see more of a code there. I do. But we'll get into that. And I think we're way too early to be discussing what is 2028. I know people want to talk about it. It's all they want to talk about because they got to fill column inches. The rest of us, we have other things we have to go over for sure. Oh, should I play Nancy Pelosi in this? Do I have that audio? I do not know if I have that audio. Let me see. Almost set my shirt on fire right there. That was an ash. There it is. Let me see if I can find this really quick. Hold on, guys. I'll tell you when. Got it. So let us continue the conversation about people who have to lose. Because we should be clear that our methodology for how you create success is winning elections and putting in place people who discuss policies that create value. I am not saying that you're going to get everything that you want or everything that you like. I am saying that in order to have a shot, some people can no longer be in office. That is the story of Nancy Pelosi. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything at tonykatz.com. It should also be said that Nancy Pelosi is a really old woman. You can't say that, Tony. I said it and I meant it. Joe Biden was a really old man. Nancy Pelosi is a really old woman. And she is a backbencher. And her days of strength as speaker are over, although she is more cutthroat than some of these other Democrats because they're so busy being angry. And certainly Hakeem Jeffries is no leader. But Nancy Pelosi was speaking in front of the VA hospital in San Francisco, and she's asked about the lie, the fraud that is called gender-affirming care, which is cover for mutilating children. Check this out.
How is your office responding to the pauses in gender-affirming care here in California?
Well, that is something that I'm working for at the national level, and we have, how can I say, are hoping that we can have gender-affirming care for our trans kids, and that it's a sad thing for us. I'm not totally. I don't know what effect we can have nationally with what we have going on in the White House and in the Congress. It's really very sad. If you were there, outside our door, we have a trans flag. Outside of our door in the office, congressional office building, we have the.
First things first. Does she sound okay to you? The answer is no. Second thing second. She wants to focus on kids having surgeries that mutilate them. I'd throw her out of office right now. You have a trans flag outside your door, you have to go. It's disqualifying. It's disqualifying. We should say so. First of all, the idea of a trans flag. When the gay flag became the gay flag, this rainbow flag, it was a conversation of the realist of social change, which is you can't be attacking people for what two adults do in the privacy of their own home. That was that's ostensibly the argument. The problem is that the gay flag, the pride flag, which has always been a ridiculous bit of terminology, became a political symbol, which is why I don't think it should be flown in any classrooms or anywhere else. The trans flag is a political symbol. It's not a flag of anything. Stop it. Stop kidding yourselves. There's the American flag, and we're done. And if you, as a member of Congress, are flying this in front of your door of your office, you're not worthy of being a member of Congress. And if the flag is to symbolize it's good to mutilate children, we'll continue the lie of gender-affirming care, and we will try and do what we do in San Francisco and make it nationwide. There's no room for you in an America that values a society, because a valued society values kids, and you don't. You want to mutilate kids. That's gross. I'm Tony Katz. It is gross. It's despicable. These people are what they are. But no, she sounds ridiculous. I'm with you. I'm with you. Is she getting Bidenitis? And that would be with an EN. Bidenitis. Biden. You still do Biden the way you do Biden. Bidenitis. And what is with my hair is very kind of squared off today. I don't know. I'm trying to think who there's a cartoon, but it's not a cartoon. It's a live action kid show, and the bad guy has this plasticky hair. I don't know. Like, that's the way I feel my hair is today. It's really weird. Really, really weird. All right, this is going to sound dumb. So I don't worry about like going bald or anything else like that. Like, I have hair. But like 3 years ago, like, I looked at some photos and I was looking at them like, is my hairline receding? Like, what is going on here? Like, I've always had the peak, right? There's always been that, but I kind of swoop it over and it's fine. Not max headroom. And so I've always had this peak here, but like, is my hairline receding? I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe it is. All right, these things happen. I don't worry about it too much. It's kind of grown back. So I don't know. I've got straight. It's Lazy Town. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Robbie Rotten in Lazy Town. That's totally it. I didn't know he was dead. Hold on a second. This guy right here. That's the way my hair was looking. Like, look at that. Hold on. Let's see if I can get it. Check that out. Tell me that's not the way my hair is. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, that's it? Good Lord. That's 100% it. Isn't he the guy who created the show? I am not sure. I do think he created the show. No, he had cancer, but he said it got removed in 2016. He was only 43. Man, young dude. Anyway, the things I share with you, right? Anyway, that's what my hair reminded me of today. Robbie Rotten. I'm like, wait, take a look at that. I think we might even have the same eyebrows too. All right. So I have this from Nancy Mace, right? So I have it together. Oh, is that right? Okay. So, okay, I've got the two things that I need. But let's get into it. Guys, I'm glad you're here. Let people know live streaming that we're here. One second. Music in 5. I love it. Let's go. Kristi Noem needs a sense of humor. If the South Park guys are going to go after you, the South Park guys are going to go after you, and that's the way it is. One of the things that I have been seeing and I have been noticing is that there are people on the right, and I don't know if they call it the new right, the woke right. If you ask me, I'll tell you clearly, I think it all sucks, and I think these people are ridiculous. And that they have fan bases, it makes me ill. The woke right? What the hell is that? Honestly, if conservatism isn't a basis for your thoughts, but your emotions are, you're valueless. You are of no use to any of us. You want to fight about it? I'm all in. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. You've got August 23rd From Hollywood to the Heartland, myself and actor, yes, Nick Searcy. That's him actually on Twitter, right? Yes, Nick Searcy, but his name is just Nick Searcy. From Justified, Fried Green Tomatoes, Runaway Jury, so many movies. You heard about Gina Carano settling with Disney. He did a movie with Gina Carano just a couple years ago. He will be with me in Indianapolis at West Fork Whiskey. We're going to be talking about things going on in Hollywood, the documentaries he made in DC, and what made him make the move to the Midwest, escaping all of the nonsense. Saturday, August 23rd, tickets.tonykatz.com. You want to be there. You want to be a part of it. Tickets.tonykatz.com, and sponsorships are still available. You're going to reach a lot of people. Check it out. Go to tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets for myself, Nick Searcy, From Hollywood to the Heartland. That's on August 23rd. The South Park guys are good at what they do. They're very good at what they do. And part of what we see when people feel like they're under attack is they go full Trump, not understanding that Trump can go full Trump and everybody else, it just looks silly. You can't do things somebody else's way. You have to do things your way. Now, you could try, but it doesn't always work. And it doesn't work when you go about making a claim that makes you sound like a leftist. Kristi Noem gets mocked on South Park. It's South Park. It's not surprising. They've gone after Trump. They've got Trump in bed with Satan. They show Trump with really tiny, what would you call it, producer Landon? Really tiny, we'll go with genitalia. Yes, we'll go with that. I mean, it's they have the ability to go as deep into the intellectual well as anybody else, but a lot of their comedy is just lowbrow. It's the basic stuff. Could there be anything more basic than sleepy Joe Biden, little Marco? No. The reason that people laugh is that it connects. Baseline humor works. It works. But to get upset about it, be like, oh, you're insulting President Trump. That's so rude. And you're the president of the United States. These things are going to happen. It's a show. And it's a show that's got huge popularity, signed a $1.5 billion streaming deal with Paramount, where I think Paramount made out like a bandit. They got the better end of that deal as far as I'm concerned. They make fun of him. They made fun of Kristi Noem. They've got Kristi Noem there in the South Park way, and she's shooting dogs. What? She's the one who shot the dog. She's shooting dogs. The whole thing is nuts. She's on with Glenn Beck, and she says this.
I didn't get to see it. I was going over budget numbers and stuff, but I just think it's it never ends. But it's so lazy to just constantly make fun of women for how they look. Only the liberals and the extremists do that. If they wanted to criticize my job, go ahead and do that. But clearly they can't. They just pick something petty like that.
Before I break down what it is Kristi Noem said and why she's completely wrong and sounds ridiculous, I like her. I want to see more people arrested who are here illegally. This was ridiculous. Before we get into that, J.D. Vance was spoofed on South Park. And South Park, they put out the photo, welcome to Mar-a-Lago. And it's Trump and Vance. And it is Trump in a white suit, and it is Vance like super tiny, super short, white suit, and you realize it's a Fantasy Island playoff. If you don't remember the show Fantasy Island, Ricardo Montalban, Hervé Vilches, and the plane, and all that jazz. That's what they're doing there. And Vance, they gave him this really fat, puffy face, like really fat face, and then really small body. And the vice president of the United States shared that post and said, well, I've made it. That's how you handle the situation. That's how you do it. You diffuse it. You say, yep, this is happening, and you move on with your day. I mean, they did a whole Charlie Kirk thing where they literally quoted Charlie Kirk's Cartman as Charlie Kirk. And Kirk's like, yep, that's me, word for word. That's how you handle these things. Well, I finally made it. Is what it is. Is the exact line that he used. And I'm telling you, it's pretty terrific. Super tiny JD Vance. And I mean, I just think the picture's unfair, right? The guy may have some cheek, but it's not. It's his whole face is like a bowling ball round. It's wrong. It's ridiculous, I tell you. Ridiculous is this response from Kristi Noem. Couple things here. First, you didn't see it because you were going over budget numbers? We weren't asking if you read War and Peace. Did you see a 1.5 minute clip of a parody that South Park did of you? I didn't see it because I was doing budget numbers. You know what the follow-up question to that is? What budget numbers? That's like when somebody asks, do you read? Oh, yeah, I read a lot. Oh, is that right? What do you read? There's a way to answer a question and the way to discuss something. And it's not, well, I was too busy doing my work for the American people to pay attention. Stop it. You look silly. You look silly. But then you make the statement, but it's so lazy to just constantly make fun of women for how they look. Only the liberals and the extremists do that. If they want to criticize my job, go ahead and do that. But clearly they can't. They pick something petty like that. First, Secretary Noem, I want you to be successful. When you work for President Donald Trump, you do not get to have the conversation of only leftists criticize the way people look. You can't sell that argument. You can't get anywhere close to selling that argument. Secondly, from what I saw, I think it's a pretty good South Park representation of you. It has nothing to do with how you look. The shooting of the dogs, well, you admitted to shooting the dog. So yeah, they're going to play on that. But it's not about making fun of how you look. It's not about criticizing your job. It's parody. It's just a spoof. And if they were insulting you about you, that'd be one thing. But good Lord, take a joke. Lighten up. No one insulted your wife a la Will Smith, and Will Smith was wrong. You just handled it the wrong way. You took it the wrong way. That is true of Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace is asked a question by a reporter. She is the congresswoman from South Carolina, who I think has done great work in recognizing that Representative Sarah McBride is a man, was born a man, die a man, always be a man. He might dress like a woman, but he's a man. And when he calls other people weird, that's weird. Nancy Mace has asked a question about spending and credit for some infrastructure.
I noticed that there's one of the accomplishments, things you were touting was the I-5-26 interchange.
Mm-hmm. What was the exit at Long Point Road? Yeah, not the interchange, but yeah.
But that funding came from the Inflation Reduction Act, which you voted against.
Right.
Is that an accomplishment then? Is that something you can tout?
No, absolutely. I mean, absolutely I can tout that. And you're a raging Democrat, so raging leftist with that kind of questioning. And I would say as a woman, you might want to think about how you view other women and how you treat other women, the way that you question them, because women are going to lead this country off the brink, and conservative women. The first female president of this country is going to be a conservative woman, not some liberal like you.
Okay.
That's nuts. That is a ridiculous response from Nancy Mace. That is a leftist response from Nancy Mace. And you got to stop doing that. You got to stop. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? It's not a raging Democrat thing to say you took credit for this piece of construction, but the money came from something that you didn't vote for. The way to answer that is, I absolutely didn't vote for this money that increased inflation and really hurt the economy. But when that money got appropriated, I did my work to make sure it was utilized in the best way possible. I couldn't stop the spending from happening. I could ensure that it was done efficiently and purposefully for the people of South Carolina, and I'm happy to do it again. But when I become governor, we're going to have real fiscal responsibility here. That's how you handle that. Raging Democrat? And then as a woman, you should treat women better? You can't handle a tough question, Nancy Mace? I don't believe that for a second. But that's the way you just came across. That's the way you just came off. What are you doing? You need a better sense of humor, Kristi Noem. You can't respond like a progressive Nancy Mace. And if you say to me, who do you think you are, a man explaining this to women? Well, you're elected officials, and I need better from you. And I don't have the time to concern myself with your genitalia. I have time only to get what I need done. And I need you to be better at what you do so you can be better for the things I need done. If you don't mind. It's not about you. It's about us. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. So I've been downloading some stuff, and does that show up? Look at that. A little like and subscribe right there. Isn't that fancy? So, but why does it get rid of my... I can't have both at the same time? I can't have two overlays at the same time? Well, that seems silly. Seems like I should be able to do that. I don't put a... Yeah, that's right. See how the logo would show up there? You can't do that. So, all right. I guess I'm good. I don't need that then. Just get rid of that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your comments. Am I one of the few who thinks society seems to have a bug up their bum all the time? Well, I won't read the rest of it there. I'll let other people read that. Here's what I think. I think that in the case of Kristi Noem, that's just silly. Her response. She didn't handle it properly. She didn't have the team say, okay, here's how to do this. In the case of Nancy Mace, I think she thinks she can out-Trump people. Raging Democrat. You're a raging Democrat. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It works for Trump and maybe 3 other people. In Indiana, there is the Secretary of State. He thinks he can do this. He thinks he can out Trump you, and it's pathetic. He looks like a silly little kid. Is what he looks like. Very few people can do this effectively. Very, very few. So that's the issue there. I think Nancy Mace looked absolutely foolish. Absolutely foolish in that regard. But announcing in Chicago that you're arresting illegal immigrants while they're a sanctuary city, super smart. Love that. Absolutely love that. Let me see what else we've got right here. Also, and stick around, E.J. Antoni is the chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, and we spoke earlier, and I'll share that on the radio side. It won't be on the live stream. If you listen to him talk about what's going on with the Fed, you would wonder why we haven't thrown everybody in jail. It's crazy what he is showing in data and what he can break down. It is nuts. And yes, the Von Riest, this is the Harborside turquoise right here. It's known as the Hanoverian, a beautiful Miyota movement in here. A watch you are going to love from the good people at Von Riest. Flederman Von Riest is the name. Von Riest, R-I-E-S-T-E, vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS to get your discount. They're a spectacular timepiece. This one's a little dirty. Let me clean that off right there. Spectacular. Very, very comfortable. A lot of different models. Of course, you get different watch bands and things like that. I just love the way it feels. I have a bigger wrist, and it just sits beautifully on there. The Harborside turquoise, the cornflower blue, of course, the nightfall black and the silver. Some of the more classic colors. I like a little flavor to the watch. Get yours, Von Riest, R-I-E-S-T-E, vonriest.com. Promo code CATS. Get yours today. Where's my story? I had one more story to share with you. No, it wasn't. It wasn't about Vance. No, it wasn't about Trump. No, it wasn't about the economy. It wasn't wow. I just went full Joe Biden and Rick Perry all at the same time. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Cattle prices. You're not crazy. Beef is stupid expensive. But there's a number here that I would love to hear from you about whether or not it's accurate. Maybe it's because when I'm buying beef, I'm looking for deals. I'm paying attention to what's on sale. The story is over there at News Nation. If you get my daily show sheet, you go to TonyKatz.com. I've got it posted every day. Things we're going to be talking about on the show. It's that as of June 2025, the average price of ground beef, which I assume we're talking about a pound, $6.12. Now, I think everybody would agree that steaks are expensive, whether you're talking about ribeyes, you're talking about strips, you're talking about sirloins, fillets, certainly. And if you're getting into the primes and not the choice stuff, 1,000%. It has gotten expensive. Really expensive. Ground beef is $6 a pound? 80-20? I'm missing something. I pay attention to these things. I buy these things. $6.12? If $6.12 is the average price for a pound of ground beef, we're in a worse spot than I thought, but I don't think that's it. I don't think it's 612. So anecdotally, on the chat room there on the live stream, youtube.com/Tony Katz, Twitter X at Tony Katz, or Tony at TonyKatz.com, Facebook, Tony Katz Radio. What are you paying for a pound of ground beef? Let me know. This is Tony Katz today. 612. It doesn't sound right. I'm not saying it isn't high. I'm just saying it doesn't sound accurate. It sounds like there should be a qualifier in that. Like there's something else at play there that maybe we should be paying attention to. So, okay. Matt, I do not know what Payless is. I'm going to assume it's a supermarket. $3.48. I will tell you, and by the way, I should have been clear. What's going on with this? I'm talking about 80/20, right? $3.99? Like sometimes you can get it in the tube. So how are we referring to this? I don't know. So, and I admit that I look for it on sale. Like I do. But I'm not paying $6 a pound. I'm not. So someone's got to tell me. You share it with me here. So this is at a butcher. You're paying $4.13 at a butcher, right? It could be a little more. No. Bull. Walmart is $5.87 a pound for 80/20. Now, the ground sirloin can be seen differently. So we're not playing apples to apples here. We're not. And that's 90/10, which, by the way, I have no idea what you would even use that for. I would think 90/10 is too lean. It's too lean. What are you making with that? You can do a burger with that. You can't do a meatball with that. You cannot do a meatball that's flavorful with that. It's just no. Kroger is $7.40. No way is Kroger $7.49. I never look for it regular price. I'm always looking at find the deal thing and I grab that. Oh my gosh. That's nuts. So the doctor of truth here, in a tube, $6.99, but isn't the tube usually 3 pounds? So that's different there. And then, okay, Dusty, $4.29, 80/20 at Meijer. Now we got to look into what causes the discrepancy, just to make sure I'm comparing apples to apples and we're all realizing it's the same thing. Or is it really about presentation? Is it about a level of fresh ground? 1 pound tube, $6.99. I don't understand. Yes, a tube you can get 1 pound or 3 pounds. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. Oh, because I'm telling you right now, even at that $4 number, that's where Americans start going, this is not good. This is not good. You're into $6, $7 a pound. People fundamentally change how they eat. Fact. Guys, we got to take a quick break because we're in the radio break, so we're going to take the break right here. Stay right there. Don't move. Hang loose. I will be back soon enough. All right, I'm going to use the bathroom. I'm not going to lie to you. It is what it is. I'll be right back, guys. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. What is going on? Oh, man. So I do have the audio dump to get to. I will share that. And I had something else. Right. Oh, where did I have it? See, I get into these things. I get talking, and then I forget what it is I'm doing. That can't be good. That cannot be good. Let me get to this. Let's do this right here. Get rid of that, and boom. Let's do that. There's a story absolutely no one cares about. So we will absolutely share that. Let's see if anybody's speaking. She didn't. Caroline Levitt didn't do a press briefing this week, did she? I mean, it could be because it's summer. She could be on vacation. It could be a whole bunch of things, but she didn't do one. C-SPAN isn't even coming up. 30 seconds before the show, I heard you there, producer Landon. Let's do some radio, shall we? This is a real headline. I have to start with this because you might think I was making it up. But even more than thinking I'm making it up, you're going to say to me, and I quote, "Who cares?" Which is why I'm bringing you the headline to begin with. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today, what are you doing? 833-GOT-TONY, 833-468-8669, 833-GOT-TONY. That's how you get to be a part of the show. I have not yet discussed that Anita Dunn testified yesterday. Anita Dunn, long time in the Biden orbit and progressive orbits, Obama orbit. And she testified in front of the House Oversight Committee. And her testimony was that she saw Joe Biden, seemed fine to her. Oh, Joe Biden, he seemed just great. No worries, no problems, no issues. Everything was just perfect. Everything was perfect with Joe Biden at all times. Did you ever notice any problems? Oh, no, not at all. Did you ever notice him not being able to do his job? No, not never, not ever, not once. He was always able to do his job. You mean you never once saw Joe Biden as president of the United States be unable to do his work? Oh, no, everything was always great and always perfect. Really? That's what you witnessed. Oh, yeah, that's what I witnessed. 1,000%. That's 1,000% what I witnessed. Unquestionable. And you can quote me on that. Interesting. The reason this is a story, and I was asked about this yesterday. I was on Newsmax with Ed Henry, and this story came up that Anita Dunn had this testimony, and I said this testimony is fascinating because let's take her at her word. Let's say that this is exactly what happened. Right? This is exactly what took place. If that's the case, can I ask the following question, which is, Anita Dunn was going to say that Joe Biden was fine. Why did everybody else take the fifth?
Of what we know so far.
I think the most interesting part about her testimony is that she indeed testified. And if it was so easy for her to sit down in front of James Comer, chairman of House Oversight, and the rest of the committee there and say, oh, he was bright, he was with it, I never saw any issues. Every decision he made himself. He was doing this on his own. Why did everybody else plead the fifth? Mm-hmm. That conversation is the one that we need to be having. If it was so easy for her to do this, why was it so difficult for everybody else? An unwillingness to do this. Now, you're allowed to plead the fifth. I don't argue against that. But she has now broken that veil, if you will, that you can indeed make these statements. Now we have to ask ourselves, who's making a statement that's honest here? The people who didn't want to incriminate themselves on any level, or the person who just said in front of the committee he's fine when we all know better? I think it's the right question. The idea that we're going to believe her? And if indeed we believe her, what in the world were these other people so afraid of? In every way, it looks worse for them. In every single way, it looks worse for them. So this didn't get much coverage yesterday. This is a crazy story. But it's interesting to do a story about Joe Biden and then talk about Amtrak. Because this is the headline. I kid you not, this is a story. Here's the story. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, here you go. Here's the story. Amtrak. That's right. I'm doing stories about trains. Amtrak to debut new high-speed Acela trains after years of delay. Okay. Maybe I didn't read it with enough excitement. Amtrak to debut new high-speed Acela trains after years of delay. No one's taking the train. Why not just run a headline? Buses now have clean floors. No one cares. No one's taking a bus. No one's taking the train. By the way, I'm aware people take buses and trains, but no one is aspiring to take a bus or a train. No one actually wants to take a bus or a train. And this idea that somehow we can make trains work in America is nonsense. Full disclosure, I love the train. You know those trains that'll go across the country? I want to do that. That sounds outstanding. I took the train once from, it's in Virginia. It's from D.C. To Florida. And it's the auto train. It'll take your car with you. It's very cool. Those trains that'll go across the country, I want that. That sounds, I don't care how many days it takes. Sounds like fun. Sounds relaxing. Although, if they don't have a cigar car, I can't go. I can't. I've got rules. But I like trains. I lived in D.C. I love the metro. I wouldn't ride the metro today. It's too dangerous. You get on a subway in New York, stop it. Do you know L.A. has a subway system? Once took it. Once. And that was enough. 5 of the new trains will debut upon launch, with 28 trains set to run by 2027. This is that Northeast corridor, Washington, D.C., New York, Boston. The train from D.C. to New York. That is a train people utilize. And yes, I guess up to Boston. Everything else is kind of meh. And if it wasn't for government intervention, these things wouldn't run at all. But what a weird thing to highlight. They finally have some higher speed rail. The trains reach a top speed of 160 miles an hour. Before you get all worked up, that is 10 miles an hour faster than the old trains. 10. That is just sad right there. But, you know, they're excited. Are they still trying to pretend that they can do this train in California, or is that now officially over? Because it should be officially over. The audio dump coming up. Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. So according to producer Landon, I missed the question about what is the best chain sandwich shop. So I got a full disclosure, a couple of things. I don't know them all. So if you want to list them to me, producer Landon, go ahead. One at a time. Full disclosure, I've never been to Jimmy John's. Full disclosure, Jersey Mike's comes from Jersey. Jersey Mike's does good work, at least in Jersey. I've been to Subway, yes, but I try not to. Well, they're not guilty because of Jared Fogle, so I shouldn't do that to them. But there's still the question of whether or not their tuna fish actually has any tuna in it, and this gives me pause. I've never been to Penn Station. I've never been to Firehouse Subs. Back in the day, it was Quiznos. But I will admit to you that I was never really a big sandwich guy, but I was never a chain sandwich guy. Growing up in Jersey, you didn't do a chain. And Jersey Mike's was there, but it was a local thing. You would go to, what is the name? I wonder if it's still there. It's in Eatontown, New Jersey. I can picture it. It's a standalone building. Let's see. No, it's Jersey Mike's. That's not it. Oh gosh, what was the name of it? Let me see. I'll see if I can find it. We'll come back to the show and I'm getting ready. You got me involved in this. Now I'm doing it. Yeah, I can't think of the name. Also you would go to delis and it would be different. Like in Jersey, you went to Talercio's and a bunch of places. So yeah, it was just different. I don't know. Growing up also as a little bit like college, there was Blimpies. I don't know if Blimpies still exists. But of all of those, probably Jersey Mike's. We'll go Jersey Mike's. All right. So there it is. So the chat room was asking, what is the best chain sandwich shop in America? And I'm like, I don't go to many chain sandwich shops, but based on the list, there was Firehouse, there was Subway, there was Penn Station on the list. I had not been to a bunch of these. I went with Jersey Mike's because, East Coast represent. And then somebody who grew up where I grew up brought up Elsie's, which is in Red Bank, New Jersey. And I'm telling you right now, I cannot picture where the heck Elsie's is. I know where Red Bank is. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Red Bank, New Jersey, not too far from where I grew up in Middletown, New Jersey. They're on Monmouth Street. I can't picture them to save my life. There was Hink's Turkey. Was it Hink's on Broad Street in Red Bank? And they had the turkey with the stuffing and the cranberry sauce. That was very good. That was very, very good. Did I say hello, Tony Katz? Tony Katz today. Sorry, we got a little into sandwiches. All of a sudden, we're all just Joey from Friends here. Let us do what needs to be done. It is Friday, and it means it's time for an audio dump.
On this Feel Good Friday,
it's now time for a Tony Katz audio dump.
Yes! Yes!
Do you hear yourself?
Stay calm! Everybody calm down!
Oh my God, this is so awesome.
Pocahontas says yes.
He always does. Yeah, no, we don't need to hear it twice. Sorry, Ozzy. Rest his soul. And we did that before he passed, and now it's just an homage. That's it. The audio dump is some audio things that I haven't gotten to, and I really, really, really want to get to. Oddly enough, everything comes from today. Everything. First, it's Senator Alex Padilla, when he's not storming at the Secretary of Homeland Security, which he did. He never identified himself. He's a liar. Why we shouldn't deport criminal illegal aliens.
The vast majority of people being arrested, being detained, being deported are the same people that so many families trust to care for our children, trust to care for aging parents. They're the people who are preparing and serving meals in restaurants, that are picking the fruit and vegetables and packaging the meat in factories that we depend on to put food on the table at home.
It's always good to know that Alex Padilla wants to remind you that we should keep people in the country illegally because they're good, cheap labor. And it's important for the Democratic Party to get back to its roots and keep slaves. What? Is that not what he said? That's what he said. What, you want to hear it again? That's what he said.
The vast majority of people being arrested, being detained, being deported are the same people that so many families trust to care for our children, trust to care for aging parents. They're the people who are preparing and serving meals in restaurants, that are picking the fruit and vegetables and packaging the meat in factories that we depend on to put food on the table at home.
He said what he said. And if you think I'm going to apologize for noticing he said what he said, we have not met. That's Senator Padilla. Then there is J.D. Vance discussing the very complicated Gaza problem.
Vice President, was the president given a heads up about Israel's intention to occupy Gaza City?
I'm not going to speak to private conversations between the Israeli government and our government. I think the president obviously has been very clear about his goals, about what he wants to accomplish in the Middle East, and he's going to keep on doing that. The president, as you know, speaks to these issues commonly. I'm sure that he'll talk at some point to the media about his response to what's happened or what was announced earlier today in Gaza. But our goals are very clear. We want to make it so that Hamas can't attack innocent people. We want to solve humanitarian problems in Gaza. We're working incredibly hard, the president and the entire team, to make sure that happens. I mean, we've been in constant negotiations and conversations, even the last 24 hours, about how to get more aid into Gaza, about how to solve that humanitarian problem, and also how to get Hamas to a position where they can't continue to threaten the citizens and the civilians of Israel. So there's a lot of work to do there. There's a lot of common objectives here. There is some, I think, disagreement about how exactly to accomplish those common objectives, but look, it's a tough situation. Of course, we're not going to know exactly how to solve a very complicated problem. As the president has said himself, that people in some ways have been fighting for thousands of years. If it was easy to bring peace to that region of the world, it would have been done already.
Let's start with return the hostages. Just start there. Start with return the hostages. You don't have to get into this whole rigmarole about how it's all complicated. Return the hostages. What, you might get a nasty note from Candace Owens? Who cares? Tucker's going to be angry. Steve Bannon, don't care. It's the answer. It's not that it's the right answer. It's the answer. Start by giving back the hostages. I don't think that's too complicated in the slightest. But then there's this, where Mark Halperin is doing an interview with Greg Kessler of the Washington Post. He's the guy who does the Pinocchio noses, who's lying, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a conversation that Halperin's having about Biden's cognitive decline. Now, I don't think anybody's cursing in this, producer Landon, but finger on the dumb button just in case. I thought this was pretty good.
So do you think the Washington Post, how would you rate the job the Washington Post did in covering Joe Biden's, not his age, not whether David Ignatius thought he should run again, but how good a job would you say the Post did in covering the reality of Joe Biden's cognitive decline?
I would say, so there was a lot of effort to produce a story that would look very carefully at what seemed to be a cognitive decline. It never came together because
No. You tried to do a story about Joe Biden's cognitive decline at the Washington Post and it didn't come together? I, for one, am shocked. Shocked, I say. Let's continue.
decline. It never came together because we couldn't get enough people on the record.
Glenn, do you know that? Do you know the moment where?
Hold on. You couldn't do a story because you couldn't get enough people on the record. You couldn't get enough people in the Biden White House to be honest about Joe Biden's incapacity. You couldn't go off the record. You couldn't say sources like you do on anything else. Like, for example, Russia. You couldn't get enough people on the record. You didn't have eyes. Oh, good Lord. And Halpern's like, well, wait, what?
Where Joe Biden spoke to a dead congresswoman at a public event. Are you familiar with that moment?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what kind of sourcing did you need to say Joe Biden was suffering cognitive decline? Did you see him trailing off regularly? What kind of sourcing was needed?
I can't get too deep in the weeds of what happened at my former news.
But you weren't in all the meetings, but you read the coverage. You read the coverage.
I'm telling you, there was a lot of effort to produce the story. That you are asking for. And
no, Glenn, it's not that Mark Halpern was asking for it. It's not that Tony Katz was asking for it. It's that it was a story and it was right in front of your eyes and you didn't want it. And your newspaper didn't want it because it would make Joe Biden look bad and Democrats might look bad. And since you are all progressives, you did not engage journalism. You took a look at what was happening right in front of you and you said, I refuse to see it. And I will do everything I can to ensure that my readers don't see it. That's what happened. That's what happened. Halpern's point is accurate. What did you need? What say so? What go ahead did you think you needed in order to run the story? Did you not see it for yourself? Somebody else had to see it? Sure, it's nice to have a source from the inside. Not when you can say, hey, this is what I see. Hey, here's what's happening. Gosh. So good. That on the spot right there. And the hemming and hawing from Glenn Kessler. Just chef's kiss. Right there. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz today. Goodness gracious. Guys, I appreciate you. I'm out. People are like, well, how come you only do like an hour and a half of the live stream? I do what I do. I'm persnickety like that. I appreciate you being here, guys, so very much. Do not forget to get your tickets right now, if not sooner. For myself and Nick Searcy, From Hollywood to the Heartland, August 23rd. You want to go to tickets.tonykatz.com, tickets.tonykatz.com. It's going to be a fantastic night of bourbon, cigars, food. Big Hava's Barbecue is some of the best barbecue out there. You are going to love it. Cigars to end the night. It's going to be world class. It's going to be amazing, amazing stuff. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets right now, immediately. Immediately. Well, I mean, what are you even waiting for? Can't believe you're waiting. I appreciate you guys being here so very, very much. I'm back on Monday. Don't forget to go to tonykatz.com and get everything that I'm doing. Just go be a part of it over there. I'll catch you Monday. That's how it's going to go down. All right. Take care.